Okay, let's launch Dev C++. To attack this problem, we go to the File menu, we choose New, Source File. Now, we want to save it. We want to give it a descriptive name. I'm going to call it Programming Problem 3-1. Once it's saved, I can start to write some code. But where do I begin? An easy place to begin is to go to Angel, and specifically the Code Samples folder. There's a project template file in there you can use as a starting point. All you have to do is open up the file, copy and paste the contents of the file, and you have a starting point for which you can add some code. The first thing you should do is fix the comments at the top. You want to enter in the file name, in this case programming problem 3-1.cpp. Enter in your name for the author. And for the purpose, for this one, we'll say computes the volume of a cone given the height and the radius. We have our pound includes already set up for us. We have our using namespace std set up for us, and we have a shell of a main function. So, let's begin. We're going to add some code to main. Specifically, the first thing we're going to add is a couple of variable declarations. One for the radius and one for the height, which are the two pieces of input that we actually want to receive from the user. I'm going to initialize them both to 0.0, and they both are going to be doubles. Notice here I can declare both of them as a double on the same line. Don't forget your comment, one comment for every line of code. Next, I want to prompt the user. We accomplish this using cout like we did last week. And here I'm going to say please enter the height followed by a space followed by the radius. Now, the reason I'm going to do it this way is to demonstrate that you can get multiple input values on the same line. Our cn will look a little bit different, however. Our cn will now utilize two variables. The first value the user types will go into the height variable, and the second value will go into the radius variable. We'll see this in action a little bit later on. Next, we want to compute the volume of the cone. Now, there's a formula given in your textbook on page 137 which does this. So I'll add a comment. The formula uses the constant pi. There is no available constant pi in C++, so we're going to make one. In this line of code, I'm creating a const double variable, and I'm initializing pi to its value, 3.14 and change. This is how we define a constant in C++. The purpose of a constant is to make our code more readable. So that's what we're going to do here. I create a variable called volume, and I use the formula that's given in the text, and I just simply plug in the variables that I'm using. The constant pi, the variable height, and the variable radius. To compute the square of the radius, I'm going to use a function that's built into C++ called pow, short for power. The way it's written here, radius will be raised to the second power, or squared. Now I want to do the output. The output is going to be combined. It's going to be a long cout statement, but I'm going to break it across multiple lines. You'll notice as I type that on the far right there is a line going up and down, a vertical line. That line is the 80-column limit. You should not go over 80 columns when you're typing. This is a good programming practice. It's a stylistic guideline, though it's not enforced by C++. Here I'm breaking the cout over multiple lines, which is perfectly legal. And I'm printing out not only the inputs, height and radius, but also the computed value, the volume. And once I have it all typed in, I want to compile. So I go up to the execute menu and I choose compile. If I get the status of done, it all worked, so now I can run it. So I'll type in 10.0 and space 15.75. And the message I get is correct for a height of 10 and a radius of 15.75, but the computed value is wrong. It says 0, and here's why. 1 divided by 3 is 0 in C++, because it's integer division. To get the proper value, I have to make one or both of the operands a real number, and I can accomplish that by adding a 0.0 on each. Now I compile, and I run, and I type in the same two input values. And now I will get the correct answer. And I also see the press any key to continue, so I press the key to make the window go away.